Hi, I'm Peter Haddock and I'm here with Seamus Foley, Contracts Manager for Chartway Civil Engineering. And Seamus, you are a big AGTEK user. You're here today at a community event. But AGTEK's become really important to you as a business, hasn't it, for the kind of work you do yourself, but also for the wider group?
Yes, we've been using AGTEK now for about a year and a half. Initially, we started using it as a means to check the cut fill calculations that we were getting off independent contractors for various projects we were carrying out. And as time has evolved, we carry out all those kind of works for our internal sites.
Right.
We very recently started using machine control model through Leica as well. So it kind of made sense because 90% of the machine model is produced by me in the cut fill process. So it just made sense really to get to the stage where we could just load that straight into an excavator. Relatively new on that part of the journey, but it's going very well.
Yep.
Operators on site love it. We also, as part of our monitoring works, fly drones.
Right, great.
So we fly the DJI, the M300, and we basically do that on a monthly basis just to monitor progress. So as part of that, as part of the cleanup, we use the Hexagon Reveal software, which has saved lots of time. The traditional method of having to rotate drawings and clean point clouds by hand is gone.
Right.
So we can essentially process huge sites, 20, 25 minutes, depending on the computer capacity. But it's certainly taken a lot of the hard slog out of the point cloud cleanup. So AGTEK is something that we now use on a daily basis,
Right.
Something that I'm hoping that we'll kind of expand a bit more into using the estimating side of it.
Yep.
Because I run all three modules with the exception of highways, so I use grade work, underground and materials. So again, it's, as I said, about having 90% of the information there by doing one thing. We've already got the surface there for the cut fill models, so we can leverage that for doing our earthworks, for doing our underground takeoffs as well. So it's been very useful.
And what's really interesting, you explained to me that the group actually is, quite linear from winning projects and delivering them and having all of the componentries that you need to deliver a site and a project. So having that sort of group that you can pull on for different elements, when you get that model right and you get all of the estimates in and you get all of that coming together, it actually helps the whole flow of projects, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, as Chartway Civil Engineering, we're part of the Chartway group.
Yeah.
So we probably carry out possibly 80%, 90% of our work internally. We do outside works for the mainstream contractors, tier ones, and etc. But yeah, it does. We've got that support within the group. We tend to get early access to tender information. We can get channels within the group, if we need information. So we're not quite as, stinted as we might be if we were going through other tender processes. But no, it definitely helps, to have the backing of that group behind us.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting here is you've already said you're using the suite. You're using machine control, you're using the Hexagon system, you're using AGTEK. You're also meeting other people here that are on an AGTEK journey and sharing ideas and sharing things with the AGTEK team to say, can you do this next? And this whole session is part of the vision of what's coming in the next few months, but also down the road. And it's really important to you that you can have an input in that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I suppose when you're doing it all the time yourself, it gets quite insular.
Yep.
You do certain things, you just assume everybody else does it. It was a bit of an eye-opener to find out that not as many people use drones as I suspected. I just thought everybody did because that's what I do. You know, but I'm sure there are other aspects that other people here will do things that I don't do. So it's I've had a couple of conversations already with people. Just to catch up and spread a few ideas around and give a few pointers. But in as far as it goes, I suppose I'd miss AGTEK if it was taken away from me at this point. So it doesn't do all the work for you, but it's certainly, I suppose that's what I have found over the last year and a half, 2 years while I've been doing this, is that it takes a while to develop your workflow. Yep. And I'm kind of getting to the point now where I think I'm only now starting to get confident. There's a few things I've heard today, obviously, about the photogrammetry processing and whatnot, because I still obviously use outside softwares. And again, it's ease, isn't it? It's human nature. If you could find a platform that kind of introduces those steps and helps you to to work faster, I suppose, or smarter.
Yeah.
And that's the ideal, really.
And it's great to see, the way in which you're using it, and everybody's using it slightly different ways, but the fundamentals are making it easier to tender for work, to support your clients for work, to work with the group, but also to bring everything into one space without having to fiddle with it over here, create another earthworks model, and every single time when you're dealing with things, potential mistakes can come into that process.
Well, it is. I mean, I suppose the early part of the journey, if you want to call it that, was probably 50% of your time you were finding workarounds.
Right.
You'd come across a problem. And then it was like, how can I overcome this? What software can I get, preferably free?
Yeah.
That will address this. So I've tried out many things, and probably AGTEK it's at the point. I was saying it's not 100% yet.
Yeah.
There are things, and I've had some feedback on some items, but it's helping me to kind of get as good a workflow as I've had to date. Let's put it that way.
Fantastic. And so we've talked today about this, but also it's time for me to come to site later on in the year and see all of this in action, if you don't mind.
Well, it's a long drive to Kent, but you're welcome down there.
I'll certainly be making it. Cheers.
Okay, thank you.